Yep, it's that time of the year again, folks. Not Christmas, it's HOKA Speedgoat review time. Yep, that's right folks, today we are reviewing the new HOKA ONE Speedgoat 4. I just thought before we get stuck into the review, I would give you a bit of an insight into how I felt running in the Speedgoat 3s. I've put about 600 miles into this shoe. I have loved every single step of it. Super comfy, super grippy, really comfortable over long mileage, and the shoe has held up really well. It's been super durable. It's still going strong. I reckon I've got another 100, 200 miles in the shoe left still. So all I can say is the Speedgoat 4 better be impressive because it's got a lot to live up to. So before we get stuck into the review guys, let's give you a few facts and figures on the HOKA ONE Speedgoat 4. The shoe retails in the UK at £125. In a men's shoe it is 306 grams and in a ladies shoe it is 269 grams. The Speedgoat 4 runs off a 4mm offset, so we've got 32mm on the heel and we've got 28mm on the forefoot. The Speedgoat 4 still carries the Vibram Mega Grip outsole and it is running off a 5mm stepped lug. When it comes to the Speedgoat 4 and length of the shoe, I'm a UK 10, I was a UK 10 in the previous shoe, so it fits very similar. What I will say about the fit of the Speedgoat is it's quite short, so I would always go up half a size in it if you haven't used the shoe before. So when we're talking about the new Speedgoat 4, there has been some pretty big updates to the new version of this shoe. Firstly, there has been a change in the fit of the Speedgoat 4. It has got a wider toe box, it's definitely wider and deeper at that midfoot. So there used to be a lot of complaints about the Speedgoat 3, 2s and 1s being a little bit too narrow, and there was lots of people who wanted to run in the shoe, but it never really accommodated a wider foot. So this version is definitely wider in the toe, it's definitely deeper in the midfoot, so it should work a lot better with a wider foot. When it comes to the midsole on the Speedgoat 4, the midsole has been made a bit firmer. It's still pretty soft, it's a HOKA Speedgoat, and also HOKA have used a slightly lighter EVA in that midsole to make the shoe feel a bit more stable and a bit more responsive. Another thing to change on the Speedgoat 4 is the upper material. HOKA have put this slightly stiffer, closer weave material through the upper of the Speedgoat. Apparently it's supposed to increase durability in the shoe itself, but to be honest, I never had an issue with the durability on the Speedgoat 3. This shoe has done 600 miles and the upper is in pretty good condition. It was covered in mud the other day, so I had a good clean up and washed it off, and I couldn't believe how well this shoe is holding up. So if the Speedgoat 4 is even more durable, we are going to get a lot of comfortable mileage out of this shoe. The outsole of the shoe is still coated in this gorgeous Vibram Mega Grip rubber. Anybody who's watched the channel before or knows me, I'm a massive fan of this rubber compound, super grippy. But the lug shape has changed slightly, so similar lug format and pattern, but the lugs are slightly stepped now, which I think is a really clever feature, and it's supposed to improve grip in muddy conditions. Another slight change to the upper on the Speedgoat is the tongue. It's still gusseted in the shoe like it was in the Speedgoat 3, but they've stripped a bit of the cushioning and padding away from the tongue. It must have been a thing about weight, trying to save a bit of weight, so a little bit of cushioning has gone in the tongue of the shoe. Let's talk about things that have carried over from the Speedgoat 3 to the Speedgoat 4. First thing being, we've still got these 3D printed overlays around the midfoot of the shoe. You still get the gusseted tongue, even though you have lost a bit of cushioning in the tongue. So it's all designed to give you that bit more specific midfoot hold while you're running in the shoe. Also, we've got this overlay around the toe box, which is a super important thing on the Speedgoat. Number 1 and some of number 2s didn't have it, and we definitely had durability issues, so you'll be glad to hear that overlay around the toe box is carried over to the Speedgoat 4. The shoe also now comes in a width option and a Gore-Tex option and a mid option, so lots of different variants on the new Speedgoat 4. That's a bit of information about the new shoe. So after running about 50 miles in the Hoka, let's give you an insight into how it felt running in the Speedgoat 4. With the fit changing on the Speedgoat 4, I really did have my fingers crossed. I was really worried, having quite a narrow foot, the fact they'd made the shoe wider and deeper, that it just wasn't going to fit my foot shape again. What I have found is I do have to lock them laces down a little bit tighter than I did in the Speedgoat 3 to try and get that specific hole around the midfoot. And when I first started running in it, I did feel that I wasn't quite held in the heel cup as tightly as I was in the previous version of the shoe. When it comes to the midsole on the shoe and the changes that have been made, midsole compound is supposed to be lighter, even though the shoe has been made heavier. Don't quite get that, but yep, the shoe's gone up in weight again. So the Speedgoat 4 is heavier than the Speedgoat 3. The Speedgoat 3 was heavier than the Speedgoat 2. You get where I'm going. The shoe's heavier. I personally think we need to stop making the Speedgoat heavier each time Hoka. But also when it comes to the EVA, they've made it a bit firmer. I personally didn't notice that. The shoe is still extremely cushioned. Their belief is they've made it firmer and lighter to make it more responsive. Now I've done 6 or 7 runs in it, it feels very similar underfoot to the Speedgoat 3, which I'm really happy about. I've always been a really big fan of this outsole on the Speedgoat. So we've still got a very similar lug pattern. It's still a super grippy shoe. Okay, on mud, the previous versions could let you down a bit if it was really boggy, really muddy. I think the way they've stepped these lugs is a really clever thing to do. What I have found, we had a really muddy run the other night and it definitely felt grippier than previous versions of the shoe. Obviously, Vibram Mega Grip rubber on rock sticks like glue. Having covered a lot of miles in Speedgoat shoes, one thing that I did used to find is on a longer run that the lace system, even though it's pretty fitted around the midfoot, on a long run it might start to work a bit looser and you might have to stop and tighten your laces up a bit, which happens in a lot of shoes. What I found in the new Speedgoat 4 is I wasn't doing that. Once you've got this locked down, even though it is a wider shoe, them laces didn't move. I felt super secure all the way through a run, even on a longer run. The one thing I'm struggling to understand with the new Speedgoat 4 is the change in that width. So in this version of the shoe, Hoka are offering a width fit, yet they've still made the standard fit wider. So now we've got 2 versions of the shoe that are both pretty wide. So what happens if you've got a narrow foot? I'm quite narrow in the midfoot and I've definitely noticed that difference when it comes to the volume of the shoe. Like I said, it's not made the shoe run terribly or anything like that, but for me, I personally feel that Speedgoat 3 definitely fitted my narrow midfoot a little bit better. So overall, I have been pretty happy with the changes that have been made. And I know it's sad, but I have been worried about these changes because I love the Speedgoat 3 so much. That is a quick insight into how it's felt running in the Hoka Speedgoat 4 over them 50 miles. The Speedgoat 3, one of the highest scoring shoes when it comes to the reviews on the channel so far. Let's see how this new shoe matches up and let's get some scores on the new Speedgoat 4. First thing to score at Run4Adventure is price of the shoe. The Speedgoat 4, same price as the Speedgoat 3, so we've had updates, the price has stayed the same. Always super positive. We scored the previous shoe an 8 out of 10. We're gonna give the Hoka Speedgoat 4 another strong 8 out of 10 for price. Number 2 on the list when it comes to scoring is comfort and performance. I was worried about this shoe. I thought I was going to be really disappointed with the fit of the shoe being wider in the toe and wider in the midfoot. But to be fair to it, I've enjoyed the mileage I've done in it so far. Does it feel as good to run in as the Speedgoat 3? Probably not for me, to be fair. I feel that comes down to the fit of the shoe. By making it wider in the toe and wider in deeper in that midfoot, I feel that the shoe just doesn't fit my foot shape as well as the previous model. I feel that I have to lock these laces down quite tight and I don't feel as well held in the heel cup of the shoe either. It's still a shoe I'm going to enjoy running in, but when it comes to scoring on comfort and performance, the Speedgoat 4 is going to get marked down a little bit compared to the Speedgoat 3, but it's still going to come in with a pretty strong 8 out of 10. The next thing to be scored at Run4Adventure is durability, and when it comes to the Speedgoat 4, so far the shoe is holding up really well, no signs of fatigue. HOKA have changed this upper fabric to make it more durable than the Speedgoat 3, which was a super durable shoe for me. So durability, the shoe is going to score high, and we're going to give it a big fat 8 out of 10 for durability. Last thing to be scored, as always at Run4Adventure, is looks of the shoe. Personally, we got the orange and yellow version of this shoe. We love a bold, colourful shoe at Run4Adventure. There's lots of other colourways as well, so I think there's a colourway for everybody. Male and female colourways are really strong in this shoe, and they always tend to be that way. So the Speedgoat 4 is going to score high when it comes to looks, and we're going to give it a super strong 9 out of 10. So that is all the scoring done at Run4Adventure. So let's tally them scores up. And the Speedgoat 4 is going to score a massive 33 out of 40. I personally feel for me, the Speedgoat 3 was a better fit on my foot shape. I definitely felt a lot more dialed in and locked into that midfoot. And the heel collar and the heel cup felt a lot more secure on my foot. The Speedgoat 4 is still a pretty awesome trail shoe, and I'm sure I'm going to get some really good trail mileage out of this shoe. When it comes to this more durable, tight and knitted mesh upper, again, I've got to go back to the Speedgoat 3. It felt super comfortable in the Speedgoat 3, and I can feel the stiffness of this upper when I'm running in it. It's not as comfortable as the previous shoe. To be fair to the upper material, it definitely looks super durable, but if that's to the detriment of the comfort of the shoe, then I don't really get it. On the plus side, when it comes to the new Speedgoat 4, if you've always struggled with the fit and the width of the Speedgoat shoes, then you're going to probably love the changes to this shoe. There's definitely a little bit more width across the forefoot. I still wouldn't say it's a wide shoe, but there's definitely more width across that forefoot, and there's more volume in the upper. So if you've struggled before, you're probably going to like them changes. If you are looking for a trail shoe that crosses over to every type of terrain you can think of, tarmac, summer dry trails, rocky trails, muddy trails, this shoe really does do it all and does it very comfortable. If you're running long distance, marathons, ultras, again, a very comfortable shoe for distance. If you're a trail runner that loves connection to the ground and the feel under their feet, don't buy this shoe, because you're going to buy it, you're not going to like it, and then you're going to moan about it. This is a shoe for people who like cushioning. So if you want cushioning, the HOKA Speedgoat 4 is definitely worth checking out. That is the review done and dusted on the Speedgoat 4. We really hope you enjoyed it. We hope you found it useful. We want you to get involved, guys. So in the comments below, are you running in the Speedgoat 4? How are you finding it? How do you find the changes to the fit of the shoe? Are you wide? Do you like it? Are you narrow? Does it not fit anymore? What are you thinking about the new Speedgoat 4? Get them in the comments and let us know. If you like the video, guys, please smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Come along and join the Run4Adventure family. We've left a link in the description, so if you want to find out any more about HOKA as a running brand, or the Speedgoat 4, 3s, 2s or 1s, please hit that link below and check it out. Also, as we mentioned before, we did a review on the Speedgoat 3, and we also told you a bit of story about the shoe. So if you want to go and find out a bit more about the Speedgoat franchise, just go and click on that video and take a look. Once again, thanks for watching the channel, guys. Thanks for watching the review, and a massive thanks for all your support of the channel. We will be back with some new content very soon, but as always, stay safe and keep on speedgoating. Sorry, I mean running.